It's me, Percita, and this is Percita's Paradox. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to give you a little word of wisdom or a little support or whatever it is that you came here for today. And if you are a OG fam member, I so appreciate you always keeping me in a rooted, well-rounded place. And I thank you so much for joining me every single week. So let's get right into it. It is Thursday. We are getting ready for our weekend. We are midway through our almost first 21 days of January. So it is a pretty exciting time. You know, we're going through a lot. We are hyped. We're starting. We are thinking better. We are smartening up. And today I just want to actually just jump right back into that exact same mantra of just asking ourselves, like, what exactly are we supporting? What are you standing behind right now? Where are you at? What are you doing? Are you in a cause for environment? Are you in just a racial injustice situation? Like, what are you standing for, and what are you about? Make whatever you're doing really a part of who you are. Meaning, whatever the cause is, I'm hoping for you that it is something that resonates within your lifestyle, within your speech, within your angles of your thought pattern, everything of the sort. There's nothing worse than saying that you stand for something and you do not. Absolutely nothing. And you're always able to tell that just by your habits, right? Just by the way that you move and the way that you function. I have a deep-rooted saying in, you can literally tell what is happening with the tree by its fruit. You're the tree, your goals, aspirations, your actions, your wording, your past, future, and present are all identified on that tree. And it's very easy to then make a decision on what your moves and your initiative towards an individual or their cause could be. So I am not in a position to say anything more than be what you say you are. Do what you say that you're going to do. Because we've discussed it. We talked about our newness. We talked about smartening up. But you really have to just exude all of what it is that you say that you are. And it's not by words, and it's not by the attitude, I am what I am. If you are those things, I promise you don't have to say them. It is the most interesting dynamic. You do not have to state the obvious. You do not have to tell people, say for instance that you like to shop. They can tell by the way that you dress, and that's not based on name brand things. It's just based on the way that you put your things together, or that you love your car. That's based on just the fact it's clean, right? And when you see it and when you show it and when you're driving in it, it's just that way. I guess what I'm saying is, like, be what you say you are, because there's nothing worse than a person who speaks a certain way and doesn't recognize that it's very visible that they're not those things. So going into this newness that we're talking about and trying to create this thing of newness and greatness and having short-term goals and making that goal be attainable and reachable in 90 days, we have to put the mindset on of being who we say we are. If you cannot do that, it's going to be a little difficult for you to reach any goal. And if you haven't been doing that, it's also a reason why it's been difficult for you to reach your goal, because it's crucially important for you to be who you say you are. It has a lot to do with your self-awareness, has a lot to do with just your truth serum within yourself. It has a lot to do with knowing thyself, and it has a lot to do with how much you nurture and care for yourself. I mean, we're big on that. You know that. We've been talking about self-care and loving the self first and all of that stuff. And I'm all about that life. I don't see anything wrong with any of those statements. But what I am also noticing is that there's a struggle with being what and who we say we are. So I am simply saying that you have to know that if you have to tell me who you are, then you're not being who you are. Who you are is who you are. And it comes off without the verbalization of you affirming it. Typically, you can ask the people around you to tell you who they think you are, or what they get from you, or how they perceive you. It gives you a very interesting insight on what you think you're exuding and what your actual perception is from others. I try to do it often. Almost don't have to do it because most of the people that are fairly close to me are in my butt or in my mind or in my thoughts daily, because they're continuously not the type of people that are going to blow smoke up my butt, but at the exact same time, because I'm kind of brutal, they then are brutal back. Some. Some, we can't help it. We're going to always find the people that are in our lives that still give us, this thing of like, they don't really want to piss us off, so they don't want to say anything. But be wary of those people, because typically those type of people really go behind your back and they're holding conversations with other people about you that they'd never hold with you. And I have a rule, and it's just my rule for myself. It's not a rule that you haven't heard, but if I'm listening to a person and they carry a story my way, let's say that someone's talking about me and they go to that person to talk about me too. First question I have in my mind is, well, why did they come to you? Because then that would make me feel as if you've allowed something to transpire where you must have said something negative about me. Because if you're my friend, then you would know that people would never come to me to talk bad about people that I would consider my friend, because I'm going to be defensive and I'm going to not allow any of that negativity, because that's my friend. Not everybody is like that. I don't expect everyone to be that way. I'm simply stating that that's the way I move. So when a person comes and tells me a rumor or what someone says, I'm always interested to know why they got the information. Outside of that, I'm interested to know, well, what did you say? That's a hard one, because I have actually had some really harsh decisions that I've had to make in regards to what that interaction looked like and how it is. Because the point being is the person who was relaying the message was not who they said they were to me. Now, I can't say who they were to themselves. I'm just saying in that scenario, they weren't who they said they were to me. And that's a friend. Typically, a person shouldn't really, in my mind, relay messages back and forth. It should be nipped in the bud and never expressed. If someone then wants to say something about somebody that I care about or someone that I consider a friend, I usually stop them and I simply say, I don't want to have anything to do with that. Because if you have a problem with somebody, then you need to tell them directly. But to put me in it is going to put yourself in a really bad scenario. Because in one, I'm not going to go back and tell them anything. But two, I'm also going to tell you off, and it's just not necessary, right? Now, some people say, okay, Percita, that's you. And yes, I'm telling you, it is me. But in the exact same breath, I've noticed that the people who do the back and forth bone carrying, right? Meaning they carry the bone both directions, not really my type of people. Now, you might say, well, what do you mean? It's because I believe that they're showing me who they are right in my face, right at that moment. They are living who they say they are, because it's not necessary to do that if you're in the person's corner. It's equivalent to if a mother was told something bad about her kid, and let's just say somebody said something. I'm not saying bad about the kid because the kid didn't warrant it. I'm saying bad about the kid because they felt like they were able to have an opinion. Typically, a parent is going to put you in their place or in your place, and then they're basically going to move on. They're not going to go back and tell the kid that so-and-so said something about them. There's a reason for that. And I guess that's the part. I'm not going to get into that. We can later. I'm not going to get into it right now. But there's a reason for that. And that reason being is why I'm saying that I'm leery of people who do that. Absolutely. So I feel like they're showing me who they are. And I use that as an example because I hope that gives you an idea of what I'm trying to say. If a person is not what you need them to be in that season of your life, you have to be aware of it. It's not something that you can just kind of say like, okay, well, I'm no longer going to do one thing or another. It's just you are able to put them in a position of understanding who they are. So then it goes back to the point of you're not necessarily angry. You're just aware of their attributes and what they're capable of. And you want to be aware that anyone and everyone can feel you in regards to how you feel like they're supposed to respond to something like that. But in the exact same breath, you want to be in a position of understanding it's nothing more than you knowing where you stand in that scenario. You can't really change a person, but you want to know where you stand and how it correlates with how you want to live your life, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So in saying all of that, it really puts me back to a place where I'm telling you, you really want to be who you say you are. Because at a moment like that, if let's just say that that's not who the person is and they're not the type of person that's going to like play both ends of the story, that action would put me in a position or put you in a position or anyone who was in that position of not feeling who they are trying to be or who they're portraying themselves to be. So it's tricky. And it's why I say be very careful about what you're exuding out and who you are to people. So again, I say, do you and enjoy doing you, and understand that smartening up is very important for you, but also be aware that we are relational. We are people that were made to be around people. So with that being said, none of this is going to be great if you don't have someone to share it with, be it a loved one, be it a wife, be it a lover, I don't really care, a dog, cat. Life is relational. So you want to know that as you're smartening up, you want to also smarten up your circle. You want to also understand that your environment is key. Not just the environment, the aesthetic of the building or the car or whatever it is, but the actual relations that you have are key. So you want to be who you are, and you want those people to be who they are, so that you can really put the pieces of life together and know who's going where and who's not going where. So hopefully, that is like something that can help you to understand the perspective, and at the same time, hopefully tie all of these videos together, because that is the purpose right now. I'm really trying to string them all along for you to understand that this is a moment in time and in life that everything has to be deliberate. And with that being said, everything that you're doing should have some sense of quantifier, right? And you also want to understand that we've always been in a position, society, has this thing now where if you're in sports, we've been talking for the last 20 years about just participational medals. I don't really personally believe in that. I personally believe in that life is not about simply participating. It is typically about ranking and winning. And some people might say, okay, Percita, that's just a little crazy. If people are doing the best they can, look, this is not a video for you, because this is not about doing the best you can. This is about exceeding the position of the best you can and challenging yourself to go beyond that. So that is where I'm coming from. And that is why I'm pushing the perspective of you must be who you are, so that you can exude that energy to become relational with the proper people and environment and time and space and universe and all those other things to be who you're supposed to be. So hopefully that'll make sense. I know I can get super deep into it, and I'm not trying to, because I'm trying to cut this video so it's not super long, but I'll keep carrying on in another video about it. But today, just remember, after I've said all of that, it is so important for you to do 3 things. Live life authentic. Live life authentic. Understand that that is the mantra to stay in, to really find yourself assessing and shifting with everything that you do. Living life authentic, making sure that it is all proprietarial to the outcome of what you want in this thing called life, genuinely. Okay? So, as always, have a wonderful weekend. Don't do too much spending or shopping online, because my God, we're all subjected to being in the house. And that's just anywhere. I found out, half of the people that are watching me overseas are still saying the same things we're saying in the States, or we're saying in the States. And I'm saying, everyone, stay off of all of your shopping scenarios and really look into some other things to do, with some stocks or some bonds or some real estate, and really make your money do some other things too. I mean, shopping is great, but my God, it ain't but so many things you can buy at this point, because you're not going anywhere, right? So even with that, let's make some better decisions. But as always, have an absolute wonderful weekend. I will see you on Tuesday. Can't wait to. Don't forget to like and share and all those other good things. Hit the notification button so that you know that you are going to be notified, and chime in on Tuesday. Talk to you very soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.